Hello there, my friends within the Happiness Toolbox program. So, there was a pun there. I'm really excited to do this video with y'all and to do this activity with y'all. We're going to be working on the main part of this activity later on, if you guys are attending the Happiness Toolbox summer program, you will, you'll, get an invite for the specific day that we're going to do this. But you guys probably received a little kit that went home with all of you. And in that kit, there are a bunch of supplies. Because I'm going to teach you, my dear, dear friends, how to sew your own mask, how to hand sew your own mask. Yeah, that's what we're going to be working on. Isn't that super fun? I like making my masks. I like knowing that I have control over the fit and control of it. So the fit means how well it fits around your face, how well it sits on your face, and how much of it protects and all of that. And the feel of it is obviously how it feels while you're wearing it. A lot of masks that I've worn that have been made just sort of commercially haven't really felt super great for me personally. So we're going to make our own. So let's talk about what's in the package first. Because if we talk about what's in the package first, you'll start to see how we piece this together. A lot like we talked in the drawing program, which we will actually be drawing together next week. A lot of what I talk about there is that a good part of drawing is breaking things down to their simplest of parts and then putting them together again. That is functionally what we're going to be working on and what we are going to be talking about. So, what we're going to be doing, let's get started and let's start looking at what is in these kits. So you all have received a fabric square. So fabric squares, this is going to be possibly one of the most important things that's in the kit. This is what's going to be on the outside of your mask. This is going to be the part that everyone sees. There will be two sort of layers of it. This one has this sort of white fabric with a black triangle pattern that sort of goes all the way around it. You can see it there. It's very nice, very pretty. And in this, you should have enough for to cut multiple pieces out, which again, we will talk about a little later on. And so that is the first thing that you will notice is in your pack. There will be that fabric there. That fabric is, again, crucial. It's what our masks are going to be made out of. So the next thing is the interior filter slash basically it's the filter layer. So for the filter layer, we're going to be using this sort of this thick stretch cotton material. It's pretty thick, and the reason we're using this, just fun facts about this particular kind of material. This particular kind of material is absorbent. So if you've been paying attention during this whole pandemic and this whole COVID thing, what you will know is that COVID is not in and of itself airborne. It is spread by little droplets of water that sort of come out of our face when we talk. So right now, in just me talking, there are a bunch of little droplets coming out my mouth. So small we can't even see them, but that's what's happening. And it's when those accidentally wind up in other people's mouths and faces and eyes and nostrils, all of that, that's when we start to have a problem. That's when we are in danger of getting COVID. So the easiest way to prevent the spread of COVID is, naturally, to block as much of these droplets as possible. So I picked an absorbent material so that if we individually have COVID, we won't then spread it to other people. That is the most crucial part of wearing a mask when we are out in public. Okay? Cool. So that's what this layer is for. You will find, I believe that there is enough in these for for like 2 masks, I think. Yeah, there should be enough in here for 2 masks. So there's that. Now, the third most important thing is elastic. There's enough elastic in here for 2 masks for sort of average-headed humans, sort of, vaguely. The way that I like to make these work is I like to have them go sort of fully around the back of my head from ear to ear. That, for me, is the easiest way to make sure it's actually going to fit on my face, because I have tiny ears. Look at how tiny my ears are. My ears are like super small. And this one is an even better example. I have a super small, tiny baby elf ears. So those little like rings that go around the ear, they don't work so well for me. So we're gonna make the ones that go fully across the thing. If you want to save elastic, you can just sort of make little loops like that just go around the ear. You can totally do that, and I will walk you guys through how to do that, but I'm gonna just go off on a general thing and say this is easier to manage, and I personally feel better about how taut and nice it is. All right, so you have 2 of those. The next very important piece, this paper pattern. So this pattern has instructions for what you're going to cut out of the other material. So with this, it says, cut with good sides together, 2 from the main fabric, which is, again, that white and black fabric from before. Your fabric's gonna be different in your bag. Possibly, there's gonna be like 1 of you out there that has that same fabric, just generally. And 1 from lining, or cut 4 from the same fabric. So that's what that's for right there. Now, what you're also going to do is you're going to cut 2 of the filter layer. That's the other thing you're going to cut. Now, there are 2 sizes on this mask. I personally, JV, can fit a medium. So a medium's pretty big. You see right there? Medium's pretty large. The small one might be a little bit on the large side too. For most of y'all, I would probably say, because you guys are littler than me, you guys are probably gonna wanna go with a small, and you might even wanna cut it a little bit smaller. I will sort of explain how we go about figuring out what size pattern works for us as we start to work on the actual project itself. But because we're hand sewing it, I think if you just cut out just what would be equal to this edge here of the small, it should wind up ultimately working out perfectly fine, hopefully. If you have a bigger head like mine, medium should be fine. So yeah, that's this one. And that's a very important piece, very crucial. There's also a video. Also just a general piece of information as to where I got this particular pattern. And the reason I'm giving you guys that is, 1, I want to give credit to the place that, went out of their way to make this mask pattern. And also because if you, with other things that come with this kit, you can go onto the website that's listed here. And when you go on that website, you'll be able to make a custom pattern just for you. That's why I love this website. So it's from a website called freesewing.org, and that's their little symbol right there. Freesewing.org is right there. So the design of this is called the Florence Face Mask. Go check it out, because there's a lot of really cool stuff on there. You never know, you might get inspired to make some other really cool stuff later on. So I don't know. Let's see how well we learn how to hand sew, and then you can check out this website and you can find all of these really cool patterns. Also, you can share it with your parents. If your parents know how to sew, it gives them access to all of these really cool things that they can make too. So definitely check them out over there. I really like them. I believe I'm actually listed on their website in their sort of example section for masks because I've made a bunch of them myself and I really love them. And apparently they love them too. So yeah, so it's a really good website and a really cool place. So check that out. Now, we're gonna dive into a few more items. So there's this right here. This is called a bobbin. The reason I gave you guys this is so that you would have extra thread, extra black thread. Black thread I find is one of the most useful threads to just generally have. So I wanted to give you guys some extra because the amount of black thread that comes in this little kit, there's not very much of it. So here's this black thread. It'll be in the bag. Some of you guys will have white thread, and if I gave you white thread, the reason I gave you white thread is because your material was mostly white. I sort of went off on a limb and like decided, okay, this I think matches the material the best. I think this will be the cutest thing to go with it. And hey, if you guys think I was wrong with that, you can totally use any of the colors that come in that little kit. You should have enough there to be able to do a fair bit of stuff. But for now, I wanted to just give you that so that you would have extra. I'm also giving you guys a piece of chalk. This is going to be how you trace your pattern onto the material. Yeah, little pink, little bit of salmon colored chalk. You guys are gonna probably have different colors out there, but because like I said, when I was putting the kits together, I had a bunch of different supplies and I was just trying to make it all work. So you're gonna have chalk in there. Now, what you're now going to have, and this is pretty cool, you're gonna have this little mini travel sewing kit. If you wind up losing this, because it is kind of small, you can let your parents know that they can get these very easily for exactly $1 at the Dollar Tree / the dollar store, you know, wherever. You can get these there. And I do highly recommend having them on hand. They are so important. Yeah. In this little sewing kit, there is a tape measure, safety pins, straight pins. So straight pins are these little pins that you just stick into the material to hold two pieces together while you're sewing so that it doesn't like run all over the place and like fall all over. You'll understand when we start to use them, when we get into the actual like making of this, you'll see why they're super important. It also comes with a thimble, and that is to protect the points of your fingers as you're pushing the needle through. That's what the thimble's for. It has 6 thread spools. There's not much thread on them. But there is some thread there. There are some assorted buttons, and there is a needle threader. That is another video. The next video I'm going to be making has a needle threader, and we'll sort of go through how you do that. It's a fun little process, and needle threaders are super important. And then it has a needle compact. So the needle compacts, those are little tiny circle things that you sort of spin around, and it goes to these little sections with needles, and you can then just sort of put those in. Those are the needles you're going to be using to stitch. Yeah. So that's what's in there, and that is what's in the kit. And that is, oh God, I'm sorry. I actually forgot about 2 other items real quick. Item number 1, scissors. You're not going to be able to cut things out of fabric without this. And I know you guys probably have scissors at home already, but hey, it's nice to have a dedicated pair of scissors just for sewing projects. Scissors generally can actually start to get really dull very quickly. So a pair of scissors, super helpful. And if your pair of scissors does start to get a little bit dull, if you have aluminum foil in your kitchen and you just sort of take the aluminum foil and you just sort of start cutting the aluminum foil with scissors, Yeah, that's that part there. That's what that's for. Now, last tool in the kit. Bam, a ruler. Useful. When I tell you that this is the most useful thing, and whenever I don't have one of these, I get angry. I get angry at myself for not having one. Oh, it's wild. This is going to be super useful. You're probably going to need it for this straight edge right here. You might need it to like actually take measurements. We'll talk about why you might need this later on. You know, it'll help us figure out whether or not our mask is actually like our pattern's going to fit for us. This is just a crucial item that's going to be incredibly useful. This will also be very useful when it comes to measuring the elastic to make sure that it fits nicely on your head. All right, so that is our kit, and that's gonna end this video. Check out the next one where I tell you how to thread a needle, where I walk you through how to do that. And before we get to the actual session itself, I want you to practice threading your needle. I want you to practice doing that a whole bunch so that, you know, when we start the project, you'll be able to thread it with ease. You'll be a pro. So I'm gonna walk you guys through how to do that next. And all right, be well, do as much good work as you possibly can, wear a mask when you're outside, and stay safe out there.